All right, everyone. Morning. Hello. Welcome to the Season 4 candidate settings of Refined Ruckus tonight. We're doing the weekly race. Hope everyone's having a good evening. I am here with Par2 doing commentary.
Hello, hello. How you doing, Connor?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. There's a dust storm in my area. Hopefully that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, hopefully we can stick it out this whole time, but I think we're going to get started really quick here. We have OhJustNothing and I think Penny. The layout still says Barrie, but I'm pretty sure we're watching... Oh, did it switch to Barrie? I'm not paying attention. But
Yeah,
anyway,
we switched to Barrie.
we switched to Barrie. Okay, OhJustNothing and Barrie are racing tonight on these refined ruckus settings. So before I get started, maybe I'll go down and just sort of talk through some of the settings because this is the first time we're restreaming these settings. So some of these players have been like racing them throughout the week and already sort of know what they're doing. But with these, we are back to complex level order. And the big difference is that there's a lot of changes to the barriers. And we'll talk about those as we go into the levels. But right away, we see that we have the dose doors hint system. So Barrie is checking the hint and Aztec lobby and the big multipath already for factory shops.
Yeah, already seeing the big multipath. Also, we have a Featherbow start with Tiny Kong, so we do get an extra GB for free in this case.
Yep, and Diddy with peanuts as well.
God, can I get this kind of start all the time? This is great.
The other unique part of these settings is that you always start with either Shockwave or the Banana Fairy camera. So today they have Shockwave, so they're able to go through here and check these dirt patches, and the one in K Lumsey has their barrel throwing.
Alright, so we don't have to worry about that since it's... if I saw that correctly, I think that big multipath did involve a lanky phase, so no barrel throwing today. We'll see if trombone ends up being a problem or not later, though.
Yeah, so it's... And there's also free Kongs on this path, so that means that whatever is in the factory shops is also going to lead to a move that is required to get one of the 3 Kongs that we're missing.
It looks like Chunky has found himself in Jungle Japes in a shop, so at least that one should be a fairly straightforward find. Just as soon as we find out where Japes is. Looks like we've so far found Aztec and Factory, but we do still have access to a 3rd level because of the Key 5 start that we got this time around.
Right, and something else to keep in mind with these settings is that there are random shopkeepers. So while we started with Cranky and Candy, Funky is still out there. So we don't necessarily know if Chunky's on the Cranky or the Funky in Japes. So if he's on Funky, then Funky could have been involved in one of those path hints to Kongs.
Potentially, yeah. We also do have, like, the entirety of our phases with that big path. The other phases that were available are going to be DK phase and Tiny phase. So, that Featherbow start, once again, kind of easing the requirements a bit.
Yeah, it does let you narrow down, and since we've found barrels, we know that that path is pointing to the mini monkey and the trombone.
Oh, and there's Key 6. It came free with your Aztec.
Wow, an easy Key 6. That's actually, I think, somewhat rare in these settings, because in my experience, Keys 6 and 7, with only locking your Hideout Helm in level 8, they don't tend to like show up super early, and those can often be like the hard keys that are locked by a bunch of moves. Okay, Barrie also read a production room mega path hint there, and something that I'm always keeping an eye out for at the start here is where are those free Kong path hints, since it can be overwhelming to try and like keep track of everything with these hints, but when you're only 4 minutes in, it's those free Kongs that are going to be the most helpful to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're already seeing a divergence also. Well, we had Barry go off into Aztec. OhJustNothing is now going to be in Japes, perhaps trying to see if we can get Chunky Kong nice and early if he ended up landing on Cranky.
Yeah, I like this. You don't necessarily know that Chunky is locked by Funky yet or anything, so... And with having Peanuts, he was able to go in the little entrance tunnel there and get the hint that is normally locked by Peanuts, and I feel like whenever I do these, I can... I always look at the hint door, know that it's there, then come back later when I have Peanuts.
Yeah, isn't that how it always goes? In a lot of these settings that we've been experimenting with, the strength of Peanuts compared to Season 3.5 has been kind of toned back in one way or another, depending on the setting string. So it's not a near guarantee that you're going to end up getting access to it, so it's very nice that we have it in this case.
And we're also getting behind the Feather Gate here to hopefully another hint. Oh no, it is the Trough and Scoff portal, looks like.
Hey, at least we know where
no clue
it
what
is
that image
now.
was.
I think it's like a stock photo of that like is used in a lot of memes, but I wasn't entirely sure because of the text over it.
We'll have to pay closer attention. It is fun when they have the custom images now. But Barry did find Ponytail Twirl in the Aztec Tiny Splat, so Ponytail Twirl is potentially path to Key 1 if that is the, hinted move in Aztec tunnels. We can't necessarily assume that that's what it's pointing towards.
Yeah, we can't rule that out right now, but it is something to keep in mind at least for the time being. Key 1 going to be important for unlocking level 2 potentially, but we might end up having to wait for that. Oh, look, it's old and brash.
We've just seen 4 hints that are past to Key 1 already that, it's not going to be as simple as, Key 1's on Mad Jack, Ponytail Twirl locked, unless it's a boss portal that's like locked by moves within the level. I guess that is always possible and something to keep in mind, that you don't necessarily can reach the Trough and Scoff portal without more moves.
I think that was a chunky lanky for Helm, it looks like. So, once again, Trombone getting double value here today. We're going to have to find Triangle at some point.
Yeah, we have, so I guess I'd say we have 3 Mega Path hints so far, a Factory Shops, Main Aisles, and a Factory Production Room. All of those are path to 8 and Lanky, so you get full overlap with Trombone there.
A lot of this stuff also being important for DK phase as well. So whatever this path is leading to is going to end up being pretty critical.
And also, what we need to keep in mind is that the 2 runners have chosen different first levels. So because of the hint system, each hint is at a specific location at a certain hint door within each level. So they have completely different sets of information. While we've seen 10 or so hints, they've only seen a 6 or so each by now.
Yeah. Yeah, the couple of seeds that I ended up doing of this particular setting string, I didn't end up having the luxury of having multiple levels to go through.
Right, because it is random keys that you start with. The key 3 is fixed, but today we also start with key 5, that's a luxury that they get 3 levels to start out with when you have key 5, but that doesn't always happen. There's been times where, yeah, I play through a level and then I'm like, okay, time to move on. And I'm like, wait, I don't have another key. I have to stay in this level.
And then that one level is like caves or something like that, so...
But caves is nice in these, that the ice walls are open, so at least you're getting the hints that are... There's 2 hints that would normally be locked behind the ice walls.
We've got a saxophone slam getting picked up by OhJustNothing right now. That is not bad to have early on, I think. Though no, if I'm not mistaken, it's not currently hinted toward anything.
But yeah, Chunky was just here.
Looking like this 50-50 ends up paying off pretty well, as we have seen now that Barry is now in Japes. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going into Aztec, or just trying to see if we can push Factory. I didn't see how many bananas it was to get into Factory, but...
I did not see either, but the thing is, Chunky is not all that useful without moves going into Aztec. Really, Pineapple is a super helpful move in Aztec. Almost everything is locked by it. So I don't think there's a huge advantage to getting Chunky like in Japes first before Aztec. So we'll see what happens next, though. Because what is the progression after this? Is it Factory? I guess, yeah, if it's 10 gold bananas.
Yeah, I'm feeling as if like Factory is going to end up being the play, since it seems to be the starter for this Gigapath that is on the path to like 1, 2, 8 and all the phases and columns.
Yeah, because key 1 is locked by a bunch of moves, key 2 is locked by a bunch of moves, but we know Factory shops to key 4. So key 4 is probably easy to get because none of those other path hints were path to key 4. So it's probably an easy key 4 in Factory that will allow them to move on to another level.
I am thinking that, like, out of all the things that we could end up doing with going into the Tiny Temple here, we could end up getting Chunky's Medal here, and I would personally find it somewhat amusing if that, of all things, like, would be the thing that unlocks something in this seed, but I have my doubts. I don't think I've seen an Aztec colored hint yet.
Yeah, you absolutely can do the Chunky Medal out of logic. And, well, speaking of out of logic, just a cool peek is that OhJustNothing saw a red potion in the Chunky room there in the Tiny Temple.
Just gonna hope that that's spring and call it a day, I think.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that I'm not going back for that until I have some confidence that it's useful.
Yeah. Something worth mentioning also is that we do want to get to Forest at some point. We have the Battle Arena there as being Way of the Horde.
Yep. And that wasn't path hinted. Like, we don't have a Forest Exteriors path hint, so we don't necessarily know anything about that, and that is considered a Sphere 0 check in these settings, I think, 100% of the time. So, could be anything.
Yeah, Forest starts at nighttime, and we start with all the moves necessary to climb the mushroom the vanilla way, though I highly doubt that our players here are going to end up climbing the mushroom the vanilla way.
Well, if Rocket Barrel is on the crown, they might have to.
They'll at least shortcut halfway up at the very least. But...
yeah. Oh, okay. I still count. Taking a mushroom to skip part of it. You still have to climb a lot on the second half.
Yeah. So right now it's like we're basically seeing like both of our runners just going back toward and getting the information that the other gained, like, in their respective starting level. Again, just really fascinating whenever we get to see this happen. Where did we find out? Did we find out where Chunky is? Where Funky is? Did someone get that micro hint?
Yeah, it looks like Barry checked it and knows that Funky is in caves.
Mm-hmm. We don't know where Caves is yet.
No, we do not. But hints are super powerful, especially like early on. I don't think there's any scenario where you like leave these levels without reading all of the hints that you can. So that is going to be the number one thing these players accomplish before moving on to Factory.
Blueprint on the Diddy minecart. All right, we're not stuck on an auto scroller here. Guess we could do a couple of the things on the 5-door temple as well, since we have both the peanut and the feather bow. There is also a method to peek the banana fairy, right?
Yeah. It's not like super easy, but I mean it's the type of thing where once you learn how to do it, it's easy. But you can't just like walk up to the tunnel and look through. You need to do a little fancy jump and turn the camera the right way.
Mm-hmm. You need to coerce the game into giving you the peek, you know?
Yeah. Ooh. Low on ammo for this balloon. No.
Oh.
How many bananas is he at? Was that like gonna be what puts him at 45, I bet?
I might.
Alright. Who knows if there's ammo at the ends of the paths in this? Because I sure don't. I don't have memorized which dead ends have ammo and which don't.
Oh, it looks like we have spotted a key, actually, over in Japes.
Yeah? This is something that OhJustNothing skipped over. So this is key 2. Because OhJustNothing got Chunky and then left and didn't do any of this stuff with barrels and japes. So that is locked by, I guess, a lot of moves. Well, you started with vines, you found barrels early, so that's all just pineapple, like, pathing.
Yeah.
To key 2. So wait, it's not locked by a lot of moves. It's really just pineapple that, because we have the factory shops, production room, and main aisles all path to key 2, so all of those have to converge to pineapple somehow.
And we're picking up a gorilla grab off of Chunky's medal, too. I don't think I'm putting any stock into that one yet, either.
Well, you should, because Gorilla Grab is super powerful in these settings, actually, where the entire production room and the lighthouse ship are not turned on by default, and we have a production room path in.
Oh, that's
and
right,
there's only one check in production room that doesn't logically require Gorilla Grab, and that's the spot at the bottom.
Yeah, I completely forgot that we have production hinted, so it's so yeah, we are going to. It is very likely that Gorilla Grab might end up coming in clutch here. And now we're going to be getting our first look into Frantic Factory with OhJustNothing going in past the 10 banana bee locker.
Yeah, and while I guess he's technically ahead of Barry here, Barry has found key 2 and has more information there, and is going to see some of these additional hints, like Japes and Forest Lobby's path to key 1. Another factory shops hint that's also path to Kong. So yeah, we're expecting at least 2 things in the factory shops.
And we're not going into caves quite yet. That's a 29 B locker.
Dang.
Oh, Snide barrel key? Is that
Oh,
what I just saw?
Oh, this is potentially huge because this skips a simian spring that because if you have multiple hints like pointing towards what just ends up being oh wait, we have never mind. No, I spoke too soon. We found the simian spring on the other side of the race. OhJustNothing got it in a factory shop.
Okay, so we've got the factory shop for Simian Spring, which is getting us which key? Let's see.
4. Okay, it's just key 4. So that doesn't explain any of the complicated multipath stuff, but that is we did have one key 4 hint in factory shop, so that obviously is pointing to Simian Spring now, but we only know that because we're watching both perspectives again. So like on OhJustNothing's side, he doesn't necessarily know that the Simian Spring is path to 4 because there's gonna be more stuff in Funky with all these factory shop hints.
Yeah, and if Funky ends up holding like a key piece of the puzzle, like here, it would end up being pretty beneficial to get into caves as soon as possible. It's just going to be a bit of a GB grind to get there. Thankfully, Factory does have quite a few fast GBs, even with production being the way it is.
Yeah, and something that you can guess is that since we have so many things, like so many moves path hinted from these regions, that they could converge into just pointing to where Funky is, because Funky looks like he's gonna lock at least a couple moves this seed.
I think I also spotted Donkey Kong in the minigame barrel in behind Punch in the storage
I did
room,
as well
so...
there, so we're looking for Primate Punch to get DK. There's no way around that within the rules of this race that they're following.
We're gonna see if the production ends up being bailed out with the splat, and that's triangle.
Wow,
It looks
it's
like
triangle. We are. Okay, so the Gorilla Grab is not necessarily needed for, which kind of makes sense, because now if you know that DK is locked by Punch, and you know that whatever was in production was path to Kongs, then maybe you're expected to get that without DK, so...
So if that's on the path, so if triangle on the path to 128 Donkey Lanky, then... Now, I know that we had a Diddy move locked behind triangle, but I'm still not entirely sure if we want to take that gamble or not at this stage.
It could be guitar for... No. What could it be? Because we're thinking something that overlaps with main aisle, something that overlaps with factory shops. Yeah.
I feel like we're missing just one piece in order to like really form like a real guess in that direction.
Oh, but I guess we've seen Chimpy Charge, so we know that guitar is in the Tiny Temple. That's also not necessarily like a part of this huge multipath, though. Triangle could be pointing to something else important that's not the guitar.
Yeah.
Lanky is found by Diddy in Crystal Caves.
Crystal Cave's still proven to be the place to be eventually. Just gonna need to just get a few more GBs in order to... a few, more like a lot more GBs at this stage.
We have seen that there is a move on Funky, which was sort of expected given the sheer number of factory shop hints that we've already seen.
think also, I think we're about to see it again, yeah, on Barry's side. I thought I saw a vial pop out of the splat at the top of production. And
Yeah.
if so, yeah, that is a clear vial, alright.
And we know that one of the slams is in factory, and yeah, neither runner has found a slam yet, so that could be slam.
Could be, but where are a Donkey Kong and a Coconut Gun removed from being able to even collect it, unless one of these runners happens to know of a way to get up to production. I personally don't. I have not actually had to think about that yet.
No, the developers have intentionally patched the ways to get up there. Glitchless. There used to be. We do have a Mega Path hint for Creme Isle now. That is almost certainly pointing to the barrel throwing.
Yeah, so that barrel throwing is going to end up... We're seeing barrel throwing on that path, and on the same path we saw, like... Was it rocket barrel? Triangle?
Yeah, all that stuff is path to the exact, almost the exact same moves. Barrels, triangle, rocket barrel.
Trying to think of like what like even two of those moves have for overlaps in the levels we have access to right now, and I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment.
I mean, rocket barrel does a lot in caves. Chunky 5-door igloo is rocket barrel plus triangle.
Oh yeah, because the pads are in caves. The pads are not enabled by default, so we do need.
But we are seeing or it's this diving. That is barrels plus triangle is diving. So now you could throw in a diving plus rocket barrel, and this is gonna get complicated real quick.
Yeah. Me personally, I might be losing the plot here a little bit, like, if I was the one playing this seed, especially if I was, like, depending on the order I received all of this information in. But there is definitely going to be a way forward. A lot of these moves... At this stage, it just kind of feels like just follow the path of hinted moves, and you're probably going to end up finding the next way forward. This Kasplat's looking kind of promising. Ends up just being a GB.
The diving does give us another level, though, that I guess OhJustNothing decided to go back into Aztec, which is completely fair given the red potion scene here. But that we may have just figured out what triangle was useful for, and it could just be pointing to the diving, because the main Isles path is the exact same path as the triangle and rocket barrel. So diving is also pretty much guaranteed path to 1, 2, 8, DK, Lanky, and Collins.
Mm-hmm. We're making the decision to go ahead and pick up this guitar here from the chunky room.
And remember, this is also pineapple locked. So this is logically a pineapple locked check. So that also doesn't really bode well for like guitar being involved in this path, because we know this path has to end up with finding pineapple somewhere.
Yeah, and pineapple ended up being on the path to key 2. And yeah, part of this Gigapath ended up being key 2 to a whole bunch of stuff on the key 2, which is probably ending in pineapple, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to be kick sliding up to the summit barrel, and it is.
Yeah, I mean,
just
when you've
nothing.
when you've seen barrels, rocket barrel, and potentially trombone past all this stuff, you gotta peek it.
Yeah, absolutely. We managed to find Gloomy Galleon here.
Which is a good time to find it. You now have your diving. Way of the Horde hint confirming that the triangle was important, which, I mean, Barry already knows that. He got diving off of triangle.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
both
what do we know
runners-
about Gallion?
Galleon seems to be completely unhinted at the moment, but I think you just still end up doing the rounds just for information, because all of your hint doors should be available aside from the lighthouse area, right?
Yeah, you can't go in the lighthouse without coconut in these settings. We have open shipyard side, but the lighthouse is closed, blocked by coconut. And one of your hint doors is just the Troffensgoff portal here in the caverns.
So we know for a fact that 2 of the hint doors are locked behind the lighthouse area.
Yeah. Hey, OJ being thorough in Aztec here, checking the vulture and finding Mini Monkey, which makes perfect sense. That rocket barrel that was in the factory shops was only, like, there was, of these multipath hints, one of them was also leading to Tiny. So now we know that, like, yeah, it makes sense. The rocket barrel is path to Tiny, but we didn't necessarily know that Mini was there. So if there's not like a direct hint for Oasis and Totem area path to Tiny later on, that could be tricky for Barry to go back to.
I think we are going to go ahead and use this Mini Monkey to go back to Tiny Temple and do the arena, the Tiny Arena here. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not this is going to end up leading to anything, because none of the other paths that we found are to Tiny Phase, so... which makes sense, it was just the rocket barrel, but I'm not sure if Mini Monkey is actually going to be all that important for the rest of the seed, aside from Tiny Phase.
Yeah, that's
and as soon as I say that...
Well, it's okay, so that... Okay, so that does tell us Mini is important, because the move in Oasis is pointing to Mini, so Mini is going to lock stuff. So Barry is saved. He will go back to Oasis and Totem area eventually with this information. And
yeah.
It's diving the Mini, so... well, no, sorry. That's not true at all. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Just rocket barrel to Mini, and then...
Yeah, it's rocket barrel to Mini. And we use diving to get the hint. So Mini, yeah, has to give us something else important.
It's worth noting that information desync that's happening yet again right now. We have Barry with the hint that Mini Monkey is, like, super important, while meanwhile... OhJustNothing just almost blind pulling it, basically just chasing the rocket barrel and managing to come up with Mini Monkey, but we're not entirely sure how important Mini Monkey is on that end, because we don't have that hint.
Yeah, and he's doing Aztec Beetle Race, which could be huge. Nope, just a golden banana.
That would have been such a pull, though, if it was something.
Something else different with these settings that people may not be used to is that the treasure room is open. You don't need to use Lanky to turn into On Guard and go through the star. So Barry has... well, no. Barry doesn't. Barry doesn't have Mini Monkey, but OhJustNothing will have the ability to use Mini Monkey in the treasure room. So... and there we go. Now we know that a clam is important in the treasure room. But Barry will need to go back to Aztec first to get Mini Monkey.
Yeah, but in the long run, this also allows you to basically use Mini Monkey to beeline straight to the treasure room when you do get it, whereas OhJustNothing has been basically blind checking a whole bunch of Mini Monkey stuff without having gotten that confirmation yet. So we're gonna end up seeing if that ends up saving time in the long run, because it's not like both runners haven't been like idle here. It's just we're choosing to be more thorough with OhJustNothing. A play I don't necessarily hate right now,
But
honestly.
I think OhJustNothing's issue is that he hasn't peeked into the snide room in Isles. Like, he has Simian Spring, but he hasn't gone in there and seen the key, so he doesn't know that the Simian Spring, like, is giving him the key 4 right now to go move on to Gallion if he wanted to. Like,
That is true.
but he's missing key 4, and like he's stuck in these 3 levels. Well, yeah, because now he's just getting key 2, because Barrie was the one that got key 2.
Like, Key 2 is also a good pull, don't get me wrong. That is going to get you access to another level here. Going to get you access to Castle, but
No, Castle is locked by key 1. This gives you caves and forest.
oh, I get Key 1 and Key 2 mixed up. I'm sorry. I'm so used to starting with Key 1 that I forget what it actually does.
These little things do mess with you, because, like, you know, in the 200 seeds I've done across the past 2 years, like, we start with key 1 in all of those, so it is an adjustment. Barrie just going for golden bananas now. I think he recognizes that he's gonna want to go to caves sooner rather than later, and to hit that 29, like, he just did a mini game for a GB.
Yeah, I honestly don't hate it, because we did see that caves is important, locking up both Lanky and Funky, and we are thinking about potentially... we do know that we need to go there for that reason, but we're not... But, yeah, again, it's just... maybe not keeping in mind the Simian Spring, or, like, that specific Simian Spring check, which I could honestly understand. There have been times where I have just forgotten a check like that.
Yeah, and that's why every single time I'm in DK Isles, I'm trying to think, what check can I do here that I haven't done yet, that is now in logic because of a move that I got and I forgot about. So we'll see how long it takes him to remember to go in there.
I feel like Isles is probably, like, the most likely place that you're going to end up forgetting a check, because you end up going through there all the time, you know?
Or even when you're in a level, you might think, oh, I need to do that in Isles, and then 3 minutes goes by, and then next time you're in Isles, you don't think of it, and you just go to another level. Because you find something else that makes you think, oh, I should go do this in this other level. All right, Barrie, gonna set up the Chimpy charge to get the potion, but misses it. And has to do the minigame.
Picking up GBs, picking up moves that the other player has. I'm honestly still, like, pretty impressed at just how open-ended this seed seems to be, like, for the most part. It is kind of constricted around some of this Gallion stuff as well. I'm definitely feeling as if as soon as Barrie ends up getting Mini Monkey, we're probably going to see a beeline straight to the treasure room and following whatever is there.
Yeah, and Barry's absolutely on the right path here. I'm sure he's recognized what checks he's able to do in Oasis area now, and will most certainly check the Vulture. But yeah, you see him going back, looking at these shops, seeing what other golden bananas there are, because these runners want to get to caves and hopefully get their funky.
Mm-hmm.
All right, OhJustNothing has found key for progress.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to bonus stage.
A key for going to end up giving all this information and having Mini Monkey already in the pocket. So we can just go straight to the treasure room.
Yeah, they might end up going to the treasure room. Well, no, I guess OhJustNothing has more to do in Gallion. Barry will be able to beeline to the treasure room faster.
Trying to keep the new barriers in mind also when you're routing Gallion, especially since it's been changed up so much. Every time I see barrier changes in Gallion, it's like I have to relearn the entire level again every time.
Yeah, and you have to actively be thinking about it. Since so far, they've probably been thinking about, what am I looking for? How do I make progress? What am I missing? What is going to be the next, like, check that has a key to go to a new level? And then you're not thinking about, like, how am I going to optimally route Gallion once I find Gallion? That's going to happen once you actually see yourself in Gallion. Then you have to be quick. Think of what route are you going to do.
Mm-hmm. Still a couple more questions that we also do need to answer in the seed. Like, we still are going to need, we're still going to need at some point that Primate Punch in order to get Donkey Kong. There's still a lot more steps, it seems, involved in this whole process to get, like Baboon Blast, for instance, and Trombone.
Yeah, since it looks like Funky, Funky is gating us from getting Baboon Blast, Trombone, and whatever is Path to Kong that it's referring to, which is probably Primate Punch. Yeah, Lanky is found by Diddy in caves, and Diddy has all of his moves, so there's no reason not to be able to get Lanky once you're in caves, right?
Yeah. I don't think anything would be...
Yeah, caves is a level 3. No slam issues. Not that caves has many slam switches. I guess... Minigame... No, you have most moves that are important for minigames. I'm trying to think. Worst case scenario, how could you not be able to get Lanky if you're Caves Diddy? But I think you can.
No, I don't. I really don't think anything's off limits here, since we have all the moves. Even if it was like something like diving, for instance, if it was a Splish Splash, then well, we already have diving, so...
You have access to a boss portal, because all of those are open in caves with these settings especially if you have Rocket Barrel.
We already have barrel throwing as well, so even if it's a boss portal, then any of the Diddy bosses would be doable. Here we are in the treasure room on Barry's side. Gonna be climbing up the Lanky side gold tower just to peek at the minigame.
Let's see what's in this treasure chest. Oh, is OhJustNothing making a play for Fungi Forest? He just turned in blueprints to hit 22 for Forest. He's not going to Gallion. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense because the hints that make you think Gallion is, tell you that Gallion is important, those hints are in Gallion. He's probably chasing the Forest Battle Arena way of the Horde.
Oh yeah, that would be the case. here we are spawning right in the beanstalk area, also in forest.
I swear it's this portal every time.
I mean, in these settings, it wouldn't have been that big of an issue either way, because the forest gate ended up being completely the forest
Man,
gate is open. Yeah.
So we
Go ahead.
found the pineapple in treasure room, and sort of what we thought about earlier. All of this was leading to the pineapple. So, and the pineapple did get them guitar. So, and that is very easy to forget. That guitar you got was locked by pineapple. So now these guitar checks are huge. Well, I guess Funky could easily just be locked by a guitar check in caves. Is what comes to mind.
Yeah. The pineapple now being the endpoint for the key 2 special, like, is... So, like, we're back in logic for that. There's just still so many more steps left in this gigapath. It feels like it just keeps getting wider and wider with every move that we find on the branch. Looks like we found O stand on a cave shop there, so
Nice. Fastest form of movement for Lanky.
true.
Actually, not true. It's the same as walking.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Isn't I thought there was like a way of like initiating it and jumping that gets you
Oh,
slightly faster.
okay,
movement?
yeah. If you're doing the right stand jumps, those are faster. But no, I just meant normal walking around with O stand is
Oh yeah.
not faster.
It is pleasing for the Talon Trot enthusiasts, though.
So Aztec,
Oh,
Chunky,
and-
Claptrap, Room, Way of the Horde, both of them already have guitar, so that's not too helpful. Japes and Forest Lobbies to DK phase is helpful. That narrows down where your Baboon Blast is once. Because how many? I guess that could be Japes Lobby.
I think that perfectly puts it into Jape's lobby
Yeah.
because if we're thinking like Trombone, for instance, is over in the Funky shop.
Yeah,
potentially.
Trombone on Funky would make that make sense.
Looks like we're going to be picking up Lanky Kong right now in the minigame barrel over in Caves.
Yeah, just Lanky's kind of useless right now, right?
He'll pull through in the end game, and in order to help us get DK situated, but yeah, right now I'm not super thrilled about him.
Huge hint that OhJustNothing found at the top of the mushroom is that a splat in the Mills area is Way of the Horde. Which, normally, this is sort of an out-of-the-way hint, but given they were told to come up here to the Battle Crown, I'm sure everyone will read that hint. There's the camera on the crown.
There's a Way of the Horde fairy camera, so we're going to need that to grab something.
Funky could... Wait, has Barry gone into Diddy's 5-door cabins yet?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think so, right? Was I paying attention? Because he could be there.
No, I don't believe Barry went into any of the cabins yet. Flew around for like the Splat and then the GBs and Candy, but I don't think we have actually gone into the cabins.
Oh no, Simeon Springs only to 4. Never mind. We already concluded that but that like we concluded that so long ago. I've already forgotten. We're 48 minutes in, but yeah, Simeon Spring is path to nothing. That's why Barry didn't go in there, because he's proactively thinking these things.
A lot of ammo on Barry's side, once again, by the way. Only about 11 shots left in the guns. And picking
There's
up
the orange throwing. Gives you some more cabins.
Oh, could it be the fairy in Tiny's igloo?
Sax was
Sax doesn't
stormy
hint it.
tunnels. Yeah, Sax wasn't really hinted. The camera was super easy to get. Yeah, no, that wouldn't make sense for Funky to be there. I'm still thinking he's guitar locked. With some of these barrier changes that we have in these settings, it completely changes how you do crystal caves, because now these ice walls that you normally need Primate Punch for are open, so Barry can go down and get a hint there. And the igloo switches, the instrument pads, are not there until you fly through the star with Rocket Barrel. But Barry is choosing instead to carry the boulder all the way to the switch in this room up here.
Also a perfectly valid move because of the barrier change.
Yeah, I don't think any hints are necessarily pointing to this. So you're really you're just getting one check in the igloo area.
Yeah, I guess it's 1 out of 64, puts you next to a hint door, which turned out to be the boss arena. We do have a fairy here that's guitar locked. Yep, banana.
Nothing. Oh, the bats are in the way.
Do they actually block shots, or is that just you making a joke?
Oh, yeah, they do on N64. I would have assumed. I don't know about emulator.
I do sometimes forget that this game basically behaves completely differently on N64.
Yeah, it gets fuzzy if because I have a bunch of knowledge from playing the N64 version originally for a long time, and then Rando changes so much, and there's also just things that are different between Project 64 and N64, differences with the Rando, that then it gets fuzzy, and I'm like, wait, is this still behaving like it did when I was a child? Okay, Gorilla Gone back here. That was hinted. Easy.
Chunky 5-door igloo way of the horde.
Right, I believe I called that 30 minutes ago of a chunky 5-door igloo. Well, no, because I feel like guitar was hinted way of the horde. What is guitar? It's only given us homing. Alright. Nothing else has been guitar lot. So, I think there's two things going on here where we have the chunky 5-door igloo hint, but also guitar has to do something still.
Yeah, but what? A lot of the obvious answers don't seem to line up with guitar at the moment, but it is important, so just keep doing guitar checks.
We had a factory R&D hint to 8 and Lanky that I'm just now realizing. So, hey,
That
did he R&D for trombone? But no, that
second ant.
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Second anthill reward way of the horde also now we just
Okay.
found out. So that saxophone is coming in clutch.
Yeah, this is why I wasn't a fan of what Barry did there with the boulder, because he hadn't even peaked that yet. And all he got was a banana medal, which is 100% useless in these settings, because the jetpack minigame is not a check that they have to worry about. All right, so remember that these two runners have completely different sets of information. Barry has been to Gallion and has read the Gallion hints. OhJustNothing has been to Forest when Barry hasn't, so knows about the chunky 5-door igloo way of the horde.
Well, this is this one's definitely feels like a head scratcher from either like perspective because it kind of feels like both runners have information that the other one kind of wants, you know?
Yeah, and we'll see. Like, I think OJ is still fine without the pineapple that was found in Galleon.
Yeah, because the things that we've used pineapple for were like soft requirements, so it mostly is there to like make the logic make sense.
I just know I wouldn't be leaving the cave until I find this funky. So, is he here? Blue. Okay.
Grape shooter.
Well, who was the one that read the anthill way of the horde hint?
I believe that was a hint here in caves.
Okay,
so...
then Barry knows about. Okay, then Barry knows that he can go do the anthill now. Okay.
Yeah, both runners will have that information pretty shortly.
Yep, that's where I thought Funky was. Guitar locked. I'm surprised he didn't do that already.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I remember they don't have all the hints like we do.
Yeah.
Because maybe only, I don't know, was the hint about guitar being way of the horde found by OhJustNothing maybe? So regardless, Barry's going back for this.
No, one's got forest hints, the other's got galleon hints.
Yeah.
This has just kind of been the running theme of this restream where we've just
Rainbow
had
coin on the edge of the igloo. It's a mess.
We are going to be doing the Diddy Igloo now, and let's see what our prize is. Is it funky? Sure is.
Welcome to bonus stage.
All right, I'm thinking primate punch on Funky maybe. That would be best case scenario in terms of beating the seed up, because then you could grab DK at the same time.
Yeah. That's what feels like it makes sense right now.
Because you know it's not going to be trombone. You know it's not going to be baboon blast.
I just realized, aside from the gorilla grab that we picked up from the banana medal, we have no donkey moves at all right now.
Yeah, but he does allow you to move faster.
True.
Right, there is a prediction going on in the Twitch stream for if we'll find all 5 Kongs by the 1 hour mark. And Barry now has 60 seconds to go do this mini game and get DK, but no, he's going back for a blueprint. Uh-oh.
Believers looking like they're gonna be just barely shy here.
Better be a quick mini game. No, he's changed his mind. He's going back for this. There is no hope. End the prediction.
Unlucky. I was gonna make a joke how it was gonna end up being Batty Barrel Bandit very easy, and we were just doomed anyway.
It could be possible to have a DK not required seed, but this one in particular does have a DK phase K rule, and the randomizer has changed it to where you do need your Kongs for K rule. You can't do what they do in the speed run and skip getting your Kongs.
Or in fact, entering the mini game that would require us to get Donkey right at the hour mark.
No, he absolutely could have gotten him in under an hour if he didn't buy that blueprint and do the mini check.
Doubters with a narrow win this prediction.
All right, so let's think about this factory R&D path to Lanky in 8. You know that the Primate Punch is path, so it kind of tells you right away that, like, does it have to be Toy Monster? Given where Guitar and was, given where Mini Monkey was, unless it's a move that you use with Punch somewhere else to get Trombone. It's not actually Trombone in the R&D. I shouldn't be assuming that. But we could be looking for a Hunky in order to get Trombone in the R&D.
Possible? Because, like... Yeah, because technically the guitar is accounted for now because of the Diddy Igloo we know had a piece of this puzzle. I feel like... Oh, what if it's like on the forest anthill we have is Hunky Chunky for that, and that ends up putting us there?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Barry getting to enter Force for the first time, get all this information, and also be able to go through it a little bit faster just to having picked up DK.
That's right, yeah. Barry's not been to Forest, and OhJustNothing has still not been to Gallion. So they're going to need to do some retracing of each other's steps still.
A big old pearl on Check of Legends. Don't think we'll be grabbing that anytime soon.
All right, OJ might be getting us our Anthill reward first. He is going back to Forest before Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he could have gone for that funky move in Factory, but... This is also good. He's doing the unknown, not sure what this will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're pretty confident that key 1 is in Galleon lobby at this point, given the ponytail twirl path to key 1, the Japes and Forest lobbies path to key 1, the mini monkey path to key 1, the diving path to key 1. So the question is, where are your slams if you want to actually hit that switch?
Well,
It is a blue slam in Galleon lobby this seed.
one of the slams is potentially way up at the top of production.
Oh
if
yeah,
you-
we did see that one.
But the other slam is
you can't get
in
that.
Gallion.
Yeah.
The other slam's in Gallion.
I guess you can do most things in Galleon
Yeah.
at this point. Well, no, you don't have coconut. You can't go to Lighthouse. There's a lot you can't do in Galleon.
There is a non-zero possibility right now, especially since we have raised water level, if I'm not mistaken, that we are in a situation where both slams are coconut locked.
Yeah.
That is definitely going to be a first that I've seen.
And you also can't go to Creepy Castle, as that is locked by key 1. So you're restricted to the 6 levels that we've kind of already seen. So there's not too many more hints that are out there that at least the two of us don't know about.
Yeah. Like, coconut itself is in fact just blocking 2 hints at the moment.
I guess the camera has led to nothing, right?
Yeah, you could chase camera. We are going to be seeing the anthill now, so hopefully that ends up giving us a little bit of extra clarity.
Yeah, I'm just worried that they need like a hunky, a coconut. Like, I feel like there's multiple moves still missing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Monkey board.
That, that's not good because that could have been. That does not help you with progress right now at all. That could have been micro hinted to you.
Oh, good old Way of the Horde monkey port in.
Unless it's like, I don't know, the ferry outside of Helm lobby. I guess that could be something.
Yeah, there's that in the sax pad, so you've got 2 checks by going over there, and it's looking like we're just going to go ahead and check that right now, alongside the grape gate, since why not?
I think they should just be chasing Punch though, because Punch is on the mega path. Like Punch is not path to 1 though, which we shouldn't assume that the slams are locked by coconut. That's not necessarily true. Yeah.
It is, yeah, it was just a theory of mine where I'm seeing the possibility, but it's not necessarily going to be what's happening. But that monkey board is not doing us any favors at the moment. What other punch checks would we go and chase at the moment?
Did Barry do factory lobby? Because he was in factory. Did he exit to aisles and not do it?
I think they exited the aisles, yeah.
This factory lobby is a punch and a fairy check.
Yeah, actually, factory lobby's looking pretty okay right about now.
Punch does also give you some more checks in Gallion that could give you a slam.
Wait, like, am I crazy? I think Factory Lobby has to be Blast, right?
Oh,
Just by because Trombone is presumably R&D, right?
yeah. I guess we're
And
running out of
that's-
japes to force lobbies checks.
Yeah.
So there's not too many else. Well, there was yeah, because the initial theory of Jape's lobby is dead with R&D only being path to Lanky. That is true.
Yeah. Gallion Lobby is presumably key 1, so it's not that.
Yeah, since they're retracing each other's steps, they have a bit more to do in terms of just clearing these levels before it gets to the point of potentially just full clearing Gallion for a slam.
Yeah. We might end up in there eventually, but at least for the time being, we're not quite there. And we have Donkey Kong on OhJustNothing's side as
And the
well.
exit to aisles. I want to see this factory lobby so bad. They aren't doing it.
Oh, we're not seeing Factory Lobby anytime soon, are we?
It's crazy how much later in the seed OhJustNothing is doing Gallion versus when Barry first went in. Like, I'm not saying that he's behind. It's just amazing how with complex level order, you just end up doing these levels in a completely different order. And that changes how the whole seed goes. Like, all he's missed out on is Pineapple that was in Gallion. And I guess just information from hints, but...
Yeah. Like, the information, I think, is going to be very valuable here. And
like, he has punch. He's able to do these. This could be a slam.
this is also a fairy.
Okay.
No,
Not it.
just more potassium. Move along. Yeah, this is definitely one of the most open-ended CLO seeds I've seen in a minute, honestly, with just how freeform you've been able to, like, do most things here.
Mm-hmm. Like, going out of logic for the guitar really helped, that you didn't have to get the pineapple.
Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to really say which one of these runners is actually truly ahead at the moment, because I kind of feel like they're almost in the same spot.
Yeah, it's I would give Barry the edge still because he's done most of, like, OhJustNothing has a lot to do in Gallion here to sort of catch up to Barry's level of full clearing Gallion. But if this comes down to finding a tricky slam, or then yeah, it's whoever finds it first is in the lead then.
We're retrying the battle arena here.
Oh no. The ghost.
Alright, at this point, we're gonna let that GB lie.
In Cage Junkie Fighter Igloo, yeah, Barry's already figured all this stuff out without the hints.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the Forest Metals Scouring hint got a sniper. Probably not helpful.
I have my doubts given where Key 1 ended up. Early lobbies to DK phase only also, so like everything in the tree is like definitely dead. Don't think I'm putting any bets on Lanky Tower this seed.
Barry finally checking this fairy that used to be a standard within the first 60 seconds of a scene. Now we're getting to see it an hour and 14 minutes in.
What a world we live in.
All right, Barry going back to factory. Oh yeah, because to do the box. This is what I wanted him to do.
All right. That's a yellow vial.
Okay, but I mean, this is just a boom blast, which this doesn't help the current problem because the splat was nothing.
Yeah.
So if we also shouldn't assume that the potion we saw in production room was a slam. At this point, I think they got a full clear factory in Gallion looking for a slam.
Yeah.
And like I would put the edge on Gallion, but I guess Barry did so much of Gallion earlier. There's really only a couple more punch things.
I guess trying to go for R&D to see if we can like just grab trombone, even though like because like we could do a decent amount of it, so I don't think there's anything necessarily truly pointing to Kaiju right now.
Well, no, I think everything is pointing to it because how else would all of these moves be path to trombone? Since, yeah, there was because Primate Punch has to lead to trombone somehow.
Yeah, I think at this point I would probably just like, if we're gonna be full clearing for a slam, I feel as if Gallion's got to be the play, and basically just kind of blind checking the 5-door ship pads that we have access to.
Yeah, I just think it is more likely that a slam that you have access to is in Galleon, given how likely it is there is a slam in production room that you can't get. It's like you might as well do Galleon. And I think we saw both of them peak that production room potion. So both of them should be on equal playing fields with that information.
Mm-hmm. There's a big fat question mark on as to where Coconut Gun is, so that one's off limits.
Because let's say it is in Creepy Castle, technically locked by the key one, that doesn't really help with the path hinting, where Primate Punch could still like lead to a slam. Yeah. Even if that's the only slam available, because we know Primate Punch is not path to key one, but it could be needed to get a slam here. At least I'm speaking from like Barry's perspective. I think we've seen OhJustNothing do the punch checks in Gallion already.
Mm-hmm.
Mornin.
Well, definitely a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, Barry is being thorough, clearing the factory metals before moving on. It's not looking good for OhJustNothing either. Like, hasn't found it. There's only so much more you can do in Gallion.
Yeah.
Hey, Barry had enough of factory. Going back.
Phone.
Aztec.
Back to Aztec?
There is a chance that Aztec Tunnels is not pointing to Ponytail Twirl. I think that's what he's doing bases.
Yeah.
Because we're going off of the assumption that Key 1 has to be in Galleon lobby. But like we're running out of checks and shapes to force lobbies for Key 1 to be.
Barrels was on the path to Key 1.
Yeah, that was just solved by diving a long time ago. So I'm not hopeful on this. Yeah, it could be bongos for factory lobby is, I guess.
Let's see what it is. Womp womp.
Just a medal. So, yeah, because there was a world where, let's see, grab was. Well, yeah, well, let's not think about that. There's a world where it could have been, I guess, the bongo pad, but we're pretty confident it is a slam we're looking for.
Baboon Blast being picked up on OhJustNothing's end.
Imagine if we had to go into the foolish Llama Temple to hit the switch to open the Strong Kong tunnel, but
I mean,
can't be that. We have a Baboon Blast only path to DK, so that's not going to happen. But it is funny when that tunnel is required and you have foolish Llama Temple.
I have been owned by that one too many times. I think several of us here have.
It's just such a slow check when there's nothing else in the Llama Temple for you.
How are boss prospects looking right now?
Bosses are completely on the table. What if it's Ponytail Twirl to Mad Jack?
Yeah, we kind of wrote that off a while ago, but it could still be that, right?
Yeah, sure. And I just think probability-wise, it makes more sense to be looking for a slam. But sure, it could be Mad Jack.
Like Galleon boss Mad Jack potentially.
Yeah. I feel like I've not seen either of them go check a boss yet.
No, neither of them have.
And we saw the Galleon boss was in the caverns here.
Yeah, it's been perfectly within reach since Visit 1.
Yeah, Barry's doing these primate punch checks first because he hasn't been to Galleon yet with punch. Do we have any sneaky medals now that Lighthouse is closed? What is technically possible?
I think with the combination of the other items everyone has, I feel like most everything is on the table except for DK medal, I want to say.
Yeah, everyone other than DK should be able to.
Well, Tiny maybe not as well. I don't remember how many bananas she has access to without her two-door ship. I guess there's like a bunch in here in the cannon room, so...
Yeah, and you have 5-door ship bananas as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what would be worst case scenario is that they're looking for an unhinted coconut like outside of these 2 levels. Like OhJustNothing could pull coconut in here on the ferry. Like maybe, do you think he's chasing the camera away of the horde now?
That's what it's looking like right now.
But Barry may have found the real answer here.
Uh-oh.
And that is the slam. Okay, leave the level now? Wait, what else is he doing? Leave. You found what you need. Get out of here. Okay, he's being
Where are we
thorough.
going? Are we doing? Okay, we're just gonna do the 2-door ship, just to make sure.
But yeah, canon game, that is... So OhJustNothing didn't have pineapple because pineapple was sort of something you found at the end of Gallion. So that is tricky because you have to pull that pineapple and then remember to go back in there, which he did not do.
That's a bit of a hard ask, I think. Yeah. All right, 2-door ship is nothing. We are exiting level.
Okay. Yeah, Barry just being thorough there. So now, what? Seed's done. Just find Hunky. I guess you don't have a key 7 hint yet.
And we don't have a key 7 hint, huh? It's probably just in castle, like a castle shop or something, maybe.
All right. As expected, key 1 is here. So yeah, your objectives in castle are find a key 7 hint, find a Hunky hint, and you're good.
Nightmare scenario, lighthouse side is holding the key 7 hint.
That is true. There are quite a few hints out there that we don't have access to.
We're spawning at the top of the castle. Nice and convenient.
So that hint was pointing to Saxophone Way of the Horde, which we use for the anthill. That's solved already. And wow, that's boring. Key 7 on a castle shop.
Well, at least I can say I called it.
You do know it's not Funky though, because of all of the multipath hints leading to Funky. You know this has to be Cranky or Candy if you're thinking about an efficient castle route.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you're still looking for this Hunky Chunky to get trombone, so you're probably going... You're checking all the hint doors here.
And there's key 7.
Both runners very good on golden bananas. They ended up... I guess OhJustNothing has exactly... No, both have over-collected. They're both past 64 if you include the blueprints, so this truly is a find what you need to beat the seed at this point. You don't need to go out of your way for any more golden bananas.
Mm-hmm. Be hoping to see some... Oh, awesome.
That's not the hint you wanted to see. That I guess we didn't know that yet. We did just randomly stumble upon DK running through factory.
Yeah. And of course, just like running past Kasplats, there's like no point in just leaving them be.
OhJustNothing has made it back to the cannon game room, so he is going to get his slam, and this is still a race. Who knows how bad this Hunky will be?
Yeah, it's still anyone's game at the moment.
I got Owl Tree 8 and Lanky is...
Oh, the anthill reward. What was...
That was Monkey Port.
Monkey Port, so not
So-
that, probably.
Well, Monkey Port, it could be Hunky in Helm. It could be that. I mean, it's not necessarily that, though. You're right. It could be a different check in the Owl Tree area, which...
Hunky and Helm. If it's Hunky and Helm, isn't that a double dip?
Yeah, it would have to be.
Oh.
Did we see them check Owl Race?
They did check Owl Race. I think that was that wasn't anything.
Okay, and it can't be Rabbit Race because you need trombone for that, so...
Yeah. Wait, did that say Diddy Storage Barrel?
Oh, I wasn't looking.
Yeah. Okay, so Monkey Port to 8 and Lanky does narrow things down, actually. And we are going to be looking here, actually. This is actually a pretty well-timed hint.
Gotta do your monkey. You have to do all your Monkey Port checks. You can't assume Helm.
Yeah. Could just be this race. Could just be in,
Well,
Igloo area.
is Monkey Port even path to stuff in Helm? It still is, yeah. In these settings, Monkey Port is still path to things in Helm. Because when we shuffled Helm into the level order, but yeah, Monkey Port is still path to stuff in Helm with these. It's,
Okay.
It's easy to get confused on when, like, these players have been doing so many different settings over the last couple of weeks that this type of stuff can get mixed up. But Barry is choosing to go to Helm, and there is a potion in the lobby here.
Yeah, I mean, we grab it.
This could be it.
Was the Gorilla gone just Way of the Horde, or was it on a path? I think it was.
It was just Way of the
Horde.
Horde in the mills, so it was easy. No path info about gone. And you start with vines in these settings, so it's not like the vines path is going to tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's this isn't as exciting if it was like bongos locked or something, but... Oh. This is still exciting. That does not solve our problems.
I mean, speaking of bongos, though.
Yeah, there's... Okay, at least you can do all of... You can peek all the stuff in Helm, minus the trombone, what you're looking for.
Can't go grab key 8 at the moment because we didn't turn in the blueprints. Okay, it's not the bongo door.
Yeah, Barry's checking all of these. Again, it doesn't have to be here. Monkey Port leads to other things in the game.
Yeah, this is a pretty dense location, though. Oh.
But yeah, it's here. Here's our hunky.
Yeah.
Saved by the Monkey Port path. That was a nice bongos bait. Because how do you not do that? You see a potion that was locked by Monkey Port.
Yeah. But you're already in the Helm lobby, so you just go peek at everything in Helm anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. So, what's OhJustNothing doing?
I'm not entirely certain.
Oh, are we trying to climb production room?
Why are we trying to climb production room?
Looking for Factory Slam. He got his slam. He got the Gallion slam. Why are we still looking for another slam?
Well, we are seeing Toy Kaiju right now, and that is probably going to end up being our final piece of the puzzle.
What? Okay, just remind me, what was the camera used for? That was solved, right?
The camera got us. The camera got us the baboon blast.
Oh, right. Yes, yes. Okay. So yeah, we are just everything makes sense. No lingering funniness.
Mm-hmm.
There's the trombone. Barry is officially go mode. Just needs to turn in. Wow, 6 tiny blueprints. It looks like he has.
There's a disproportionately large amount of tiny blueprints.
OhJustNothing must think he's looking for a red slam for some reason.
I'm really curious as to where Coconut Gun ended up in this seed, but I don't think we're gonna know.
No, yeah, with it not being like required for anything, it truly could just be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Barry making use of the Warp 1 in Helm Lobby. Don't see that every day.
When you get a required double dip, yep, it's useful. All right, Helm, let's see a 2% just for the fans. It doesn't matter, but it would be funny.
Can we see a beaver? We can see a beaver bother today because beavers and hard minigames are enabled in these settings.
Mm-hmm. We in fact saw a hard big bug bash earlier.
All right, while we are watching Barry go through Helm and OhJustNothing clear Mornin and Aztec, what is everyone most excited about Season 4 in the chat? Go ahead and post the setting that you think is the coolest, that you want to see the most. What are you most passionate about? What do you want to see out of Season 4? We have a beaver bother, obviously. Helm hop, the DK, the random DK portals, like where you start each level, I think is great. That adds variety to how you route these levels.
Maybe I'm just boring, but like I honestly like some of the barrier changes, like specifically the forest green tunnel being open and the cave's ice walls being down.
Right, because part of the downside of the dough store hints is that you get these seeds where there's 4, 5 hints that you just can't get because they're locked by moves that are not hinted, you don't have. So the more hints that are always available, the safer it makes some of these and not being complete casinos going off of no hints. And what we are seeing from Barry here is that this the first door in Helm is locked by 64 gold bananas. He only needed 50 bananas to enter Helm the first time. So this allows you to get inside of Helm and do those checks before actually hitting 64. And I think the more important thing is that it lowers your max B locker for the other 7 levels to 50. So there's no more grinding to 63 GBs just to enter one of the main levels.
Yeah, I'm very much happy about that particular change as well, because just in CLO, just kind of checking a level entrance and just being like, the B locker is just telling me you need 59 GBs in order to enter this level. I'm like, all right, guess I'm not going there today.
But there have been seeds where it's like, in order to make any progression, you need to grind a ton of GBs.
Yeah.
Because, like, imagine if Caves was actually like a 55 gold banana B locker, how painful the seed could have been.
Oh, absolutely. You're just getting through the lanky phase now.
I think the seed was also a good example of the, I guess, benefits of complex level order. How there were a lot of different orders that you could have done these levels in, and you weren't necessarily restricted from moving on due to training moves or things like that. You know, it was key 1 ended up being the hardest key for us today that OJ is still trying to find.
Honestly, the fact that now that we've like got the bird's eye view on the seed, we know where everything is. It really is kind of amazing how the level order in this case ended up being very non-linear. I feel like there isn't like I feel like this would be a hard one to optimize just because of the way that like it kind of feels like you're kind of just in a whole bunch of 50-50s in terms of which level you want to actually go to at any given time.
Yeah, because depending on which level you choose, like we had the Japes versus Aztec decision early on, and then the Gallion versus Forest decision as well. There were many valid ways to do this seed that, and none necessarily seemed that much better than the other, given that this came down to a unhinted slam on Cannon Game.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like this seed allowed CLO to really shine.
Now let's add back in Helm Hop to CLO. Who's with me?
I will say I enjoyed the idea of Helm Hop. I just was like, this felt weird in conjunction with the Dose Doors hints for me, because
Yes,
level 8 hints.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Where, because it is rare to have key 6, key 7, and Monkey Pour, so like you tended to be locked out of that level 8 and unable to get 5 hints.
Yeah. We moving out of Tiny phase and into DK phase on Barry's end.
is the final phase.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the things that I really liked about these season 4 experiments. By the way, just like ways that we could end up proceeding. Maybe not necessarily for season 4, but some other things that we might end up trying in the future for seasonal presets. Just the way things are going, I'm kind of feeling this is the Dose Doors might end up being the thing for season 4.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, Barry has finished now with a 144. Guess we'll see if we can get him in here for an interview shortly. But taking a look at the main race lobby, Barry put up a very respectable 6th place out of 28 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Hello, Barry. Congratulations.
Hello.
Mornin.
Thank you. Morning. I Mega Gigapath seeds are just really difficult in my opinion. So
We were talking about how much fun that was to watch and like figure out, and it was a good, nice quality CLO seed, but yeah, it was overwhelming.
it was overwhelming, but I really enjoyed this though. It was a really fun seed. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just it definitely felt like one of those seeds that really allowed CLO to come into its own.
Yeah.
Just from our perspective.
Yeah, since there was a lot of route divergence where, like, even at the very start, the two of you chose different starting levels. One went to Japes, one went to Aztec, and then
Yeah.
OJ didn't go into Gallion until like 114 or something. He did like all of forest and caves and factory and like got DK all before even like setting foot in Gallion a single time.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to watch the VOD back and see what the differences is because, I was thinking about maybe going to get a GB from Isles and going to Apes first. But the second thought, with Cranky available, like I always like to like keep that and like get some coins first before even going back there. Especially with the Shockwave start, Oh yeah, that's just me. So I went to Aztec first. And, yeah.
Which I don't think that mattered because like you could have had Chunky before going to Aztec, but it's like, what is Chunky gonna do in Aztec? Moveless, really?
Yeah. I mean, but yeah. Other than that, like, I think I did some like gameplay mistakes, like accidentally hitting the wrong button with PTT and Japes caves, and then missing the Chippy charge and Tiny Temple strat.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought I played pretty well. It was overly a pretty difficult seed. But I wouldn't say it was too difficult, but I feel like the hints were pretty good. The owl tree hint at castle was pretty clutch because I didn't know what to do about Hunky at the end.
Right, yeah, because we recognize that you're going into castle and like you're missing key 7 and Hunky, and the key 7 ended up being simple there, but yeah, you see that owl tree to 8 and lanky, you're like, wait, is that actually the monkey port? And like you narrow it down, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing left in the owl tree area. It has to be.
Yeah, and then like R&D, like I didn't even think about like it was gonna be on the Toy Monster of all places. I thought it was gonna be on somebody else's R&D for a second because of this frickin' gigapath. Like you cannot like frickin' figure it out. But
Yeah,
it
that was.
actually is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you could have recognized that Punch had to lead to Trombone somehow, so it didn't really make sense for Trombone to be on Car Race or Diddy R&D.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that there's that. But yeah.
Yeah, that slam location seemed to be.
Yeah. I was wondering if what the factory one was because I was looking for that too. I was trying to dig
So-
out Chunky's medal or something, you know.
Did you peek the Kasplat in Prod?
I did, but
Do you remember?
I don't have coconut.
But do you remember it was a white potion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it?
So I mean, of course, there's no way of knowing that that was the slam, but
Yeah.
if you assume that's the slam that you can't get, then like it does make sense to go clear Galleon instead. And we do know now from external players that that was a slam on top of factory production room. So
About
yeah,
coconut.
your only available slam was indeed the one on Cannon Game.
Okay,
I'm
so that
really
was the only
curious as to
available
where.
one.
I'm really curious as to where Coconut was.
Yeah.
I'm seeing reports of Helm or
Oh,
The Helm Fairy. I thought I saw a vial there. I just
I
couldn't
did
tell what
see
it
it.
was.
I'll see if it's there.
Mornin.
OJ,
Morning.
welcome.
Thank you, thank you. So I don't know what happened there. I just ran out of ideas for where did I go wrong?
So, do you know about the hint that is Japes to Forest Lobby's path to Key 1?
Do I know about that? That doesn't sound
Yeah,
familiar.
it took me a while to figure that out too. I think I went to do like some shipyard checks. And, what am I doing?
Let me see
Yeah.
here. Oh,
Before I even went.
that is it.
Yeah.
I didn't write that one down. I forgot to write it down.
Yeah, because that is because you have Ponytail Twirl path to 1, you have
Yeah.
Mini path to 1,
Right.
you have Diving path to 1, and it is Galleon Lobby that is what is blocking you right now.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I had it so stuck in my head the whole time that
there's coconut gun.
twirl was to 1 because of production room. So I was going around looking for slams for a while, and then when I ran out of things to do in factory, I was just looking for whatever I was missing.
Oh,
would have been
yeah.
good to just revisit my hints, but
Yeah, that makes sense if you're forgetting about that Galleon Lobby check as being a twirl check and sort of tunnel vision onto the production room.
We've all been there.
I didn't write that hint down, didn't remember it. That definitely would have gotten me there if I had remembered that. Oh well.
Yeah, it was like very close until it came down to like the slam at the end.
Right.
You guys had different like level orders that you did, so you played the seed completely differently, but you sort of
Cool.
both ended up in the same spot with the same moves, and just you needed key 1, and then Barry sort of full
Did
cleared.
that?
Yeah, full cleared the Galleon, got slam, and the rest of the seed was pretty simple.
Yep, that checks out. Well, GG's, Barry. Well done.
GG's.
One of these days, I'm going to take the dub on a restream. I'm 0 for 4 right now. One of these
Aw.
days, one of these
You'll
days,
get
I'm
there.
going to pop off.
I believe.
Oh, yeah.
As far as these settings go for these experimental, I think this one's easily the best.
I agree.
There's like I don't think any of the other three come close to this. I've
Yeah,
done
I'm with you.
I've done a lot more of these than the other three combined. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, the flow of it feels good, and when it gets messy, I find it gets messy in kind of a fun and interesting way, instead of a way that makes me want to pull my hair out. Usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the flaws of it, it's like minor flaws in my opinion. Like,
I agree.
yeah. Well, I can live with these settings,
100%.
Pretty good.
Did the viewers have a good time? Was it a good show?
Yeah, the viewers got mad at Barry intentionally getting DK just after the 1 hour mark. Some channel points were lost because you had the ability to get DK just under an hour, but you did the mini monkey check in storage.
I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't know. Was it like at 59 minutes or something like that?
Yes. It was like 59
wow.
minutes. You're running over to the punch gate, and then you double back and jump in the mini barrel.
Well, the thing was, I
That's
think
so
I had
funny.
like 4 or 5 blueprints at the time. So, like, I ended up with 6 blueprints in total.
Yeah.
I was like, I could stack up more tiny blueprints. Why not? Oh.
Just get a big turn in right at the end.
Yeah. It feels satisfying when you do a big turn in.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was a good seed. I just, yeah. You miss a crucial hint, and that's the ball game.
Yeah,
Well,
at
but
least we had that slam hint, right?
Truly.
If we didn't know we were confined to factory and Gallion, it could have been worse.
Yeah,
It would have been
absolutely.
something if Monkey was like on a bongos check or something.
Right.
Oh yeah, the bait bongos, because I guess OJ, you didn't realize this, but in Castle, you get a hint that Monkey Port is path to 8 and Lanky. So you're like, oh, Monkey Port leads to Hunky, and then you enter Helm Lobby, see a potion on the Gorilla Gone barrel, and you do that and get bongos. Then you go into Helm, and Hunky is on the Diddy room.
Of course. Classic.
Yeah.
All right, any final thoughts before we end it here?
I had fun until, and well, we all saw what happened. But overall, I had fun, and well done, Barry. GG's.
GG's, so.
Yeah,
Really
GG
excited
both
to
you.
see what the season 4 settings turn out to be.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, be sure to leave your opinions in the season 4 discussion channel if what you want to see out of season 4. It's been a blast doing all these candidate settings. And I'm sure people are going to have lots of opinions now.
Absolutely. It's been fun to get back on the grind.
And very exciting to be able to commentate and watch all of these fantastic races too.
All right, I don't actually have control of the stream right now, so I'll leave it to Alta to end this.